What is happening, everybody? My name is Grim. Welcome back, and we are about to talk the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix of 2024. Let's get into the video.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you, Daniel.
Alright guys, so welcome back. Now we're going to go through the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Listen, I've had time to digest what's happened, and I've got a real honest opinion about this Grand Prix, and I'm looking forward to Melbourne, which is the next Grand Prix. Freaking hyped, so we've got a lot of videos coming out for that very soon. But first, we're talking Saudi Arabia. Now, of course, Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix by 13 seconds against his teammate Sergio Perez. And third was Charles Leclerc, with Oscar Piastri P4 and fifth Fernando Alonso. Sixth, George Russell. Seventh, Ollie Bearman. Seventh, eighth, Lando Norris. Ninth, Lewis Hamilton. And 10th, Nico Hulkenberg. Now, we've got a few things to talk about. First of all, let's talk about Max Verstappen dominating once again, dominating the weekend. Nobody's stopping Max Verstappen. He's about to win every single race this season. I don't see anyone beating him. The only person I can see maybe beating him is Sergio Perez, or maybe a Ferrari driver come end of season. We're going to have to wait and see. But at the moment, Max Verstappen, listen, was he driver of the day? Almost. I think that we're going to give driver of the day to someone else who we'll talk about next. But Max Verstappen, hype train is real. He's about to become a four-time Formula 1 world champion. Can't take away what he's done. And shout out to Max Verstappen. Now, Sergio Perez, second place. Listen, he's doing what he has to do for Red Bull. Great drive for him. And yeah, didn't expect anything more. Didn't expect nothing less. You know, Sergio Perez in a Red Bull. And yeah, 30 seconds behind Max Verstappen. Won't be a world champion this year. Won't ever become a world champion. It is what it is. Charles Leclerc had a decent race for Ferrari. It wasn't too bad. Listen, that's where Ferrari are. The second best of the rest. And, you know, third place, it's just normal, right? It's nothing crazy, but it's a good result for Ferrari, I guess. But they're still 18 seconds off the lead. So it sucks for, I guess, Charles and Ferrari at this point in time. Ferrari have a lot of work to do to try and close that gap to Red Bull. Oscar Piastri doesn't get talked about a lot with the British media. Sorry to say that's just, I'm not being Aussie biased, but listen, mate. Piastri P4 out beating Lando Norris, even though Lando Norris jumped the start. We'll talk about Lando soon. But Piastri getting P4 is actually a tremendous result, and they don't talk about it enough. So Piastri with that P4, mate, and even predicted it. So listen, he's not getting enough credit, Piastri, but he beat Lando Norris. Every time Lando beats Piastri, I feel like it's G'd up. Listen, Piastri smashed Norris this weekend. Simple as that. Beat him in qualifying, been on it all weekend, and smashed him in the race. Simple as that. Now, let's talk about Lando Norris. Lando Norris jumped the start, guys. Now, listen, at the end of the day, people aren't going to talk about this, and they're saying, oh, whatever. Like, it's sort of hush at the moment. I feel like Lando gets a lot like, away with a lot of things with the media, okay? Me personally. Now, Norris jumped the start. How he didn't get a penalty, I will never know. Something crap with the sensors didn't work, mate. It's a clear jump start. I don't understand how you get over that straight. If it was Max Verstappen, if it was someone else, I would have given him a penalty. I'm very sorry. FIA need to wake up and really work on what the heck they're doing, because Lando Norris clearly got a penalty at the start of the Grand Prix. Anyone that has anything to say against that, come on, mate. Open your eyes. So, yeah, Lando Norris ended up finishing P8, but at the end of the day, should have got a 10-second penalty or whatever the penalty is for jumping the start. And that's my honest opinion about that. Now, driver of the day, of course, Ollie Bearman, the Ferrari driver who took over for Carlos Sainz. Finished P7, got points. I did predict he would get points in this race. Obviously, you know, being a talent and plus being in the Ferrari. I feel like he's a bit overhyped at the moment. I've seen people saying that he should replace Lewis Hamilton at Ferrari once, you know, Lewis retires. Listen, don't overhype the Ollie Bearman train too much. Listen, he's done well. Now, let's see what he does in Formula 2. But the thing is, he is only 18 years old. So let's see what he can do this season. But he has performed at Ferrari. He performed with pressure on his shoulders. And it's a great result for Ollie Bearman. P7, I can't be happy. And to me, driver of the day for sure. Fernando Alonso outperforming his Aston Martin, got P5. Good result for him in Aston. But I still think Fernando Alonso is looking for an exit clause to get out of that team at the end of this year and move somewhere else. Teammate Lance Stroll crashing. People are upset with Lance Stroll's radio message. Listen, you got to guys understand. These drivers have a massive loads of adrenaline while they're driving the car, and sometimes shit comes out, right? So it's just like, mate, he said what he said. It wasn't even that bad. Stop. Like, if someone else had said that, they would have had a laugh. So listen, at the end of the day, it's because Lance said it. They thought, oh, this and that, complaining. Listen, he crashed his car. Listen, it sucked. Lance did not have a good weekend at all, okay? Last weekend we got points after, spinning out, which was great. But did not have a good weekend at all in Saudi Arabia. Needs to improve. It's simple. But people giving him crap about the radio message, I think it needs to be looked at with people and the fans because they're just completely wrong. I have no clue. So that's with the Lance Stroll situation. Lewis Hamilton and George Russell 6th and 9th. Lewis Hamilton was literally struggling really bad all weekend. Lewis, very disappointing result for him. And George Russell, P6, sort of where Mercedes was sort of at, but beating Lewis Hamilton in Saudi. And I feel like Saudi has been half kind to Lewis. Obviously, his last win was at Saudi Arabia, but after that win, nothing much has really happened since with Lewis and Saudi Arabia. But he hasn't had a car since, so it's interesting to see. But Lewis Hamilton's struggling a lot. I think by the end of the season, he's not going to be able to. He's going to say, you know what, I'm done. Thank you, Mercedes has been great, but it's time for me to start a new chapter at Ferrari. Of course, P10, Nico Hülkenberg, and we know Kevin Magnussen had a 20-second penalty now. The corner cutting 10-second penalty I thought was a bit harsh, and there's I think 10 seconds a lot, especially for a midfield driver. But apparently all the drivers have agreed on that. But Kevin Magnussen parking the bus and, holding Esteban Ocon, Yuki Tsunoda, Logan Sargent, Daniel Ricciardo, all those drivers. And honestly, yeah, because of that, Hülkenberg got a free pit stop, and Hülkenberg finished P10, getting 1 point for himself and 1 point for Haas. Stuff like that. Listen, honestly, first of all, Kevin needs to really improve his game if he really wants to seat next year. Now that Ollie Behrman has performed, will he sign for Haas next year? Potentially. I'd rather see Behrman and Kevin Magnussen, but Hülkenberg is performing. He's outperforming Kevin. And at the end of the day, yeah, you're doing it for the team, giving Hülkenberg that point. But at the end of the day, push comes to shove. At the end of the season, if Hülkenberg has that 1 point and Kevin's on 0, who are they going to pick to replace, or who's going to be replaced out of both of them? And maybe Behrman might go there, or someone else, you know what I mean? So maybe a Zhou, I don't know. But let's see what happens with that. But at the end of the day, Kevin parked the bus, and teams are not happy with that. The RB coming out saying, they should be under investigation for unsportsmanlike driving. Mate, it is what it is. That's Formula 1. He held it. No, you guys couldn't take him. Simple as that. Yuki Tsunoda disappointing to drop down to P14 after that, and he was held back on the Kevin Magnussen, I guess, bus train stop. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, disappointment for Yuki, but Yuki did beat Daniel Ricciardo, who's struggling a lot, mate. Daniel Ricciardo, at the moment, looking absolutely washed, unfortunately. I really want him to perform to get that seat next to Max Verstappen next year. At the moment, does it look like it's going to happen? No, we're 2 races in at this point in time, but honestly, it does not look like it's going to happen. Daniel Ricciardo is struggling. He needs to find some momentum. He needs to do something because Yuki's outperforming Ricciardo, and I didn't think I'd be saying that 2 races into the season, but it's happening, and it's real. Logan Sargent, P15, Alex Albon, 11th. Logan Sargent not doing too bad, but was stuck in that train. Esteban Ocon, pretty impressive to finish 13th with the Alpine. Of course, his teammate Pierre Gasly did not finish, and of course, Lance Stroll didn't finish with a crash. Pierre Gasly retiring the car. Zhou and Bottas right at the back. Those Saubers struggling, even though Audi have confirmed they're taking over. Mate, they've got work to do at Audi, and I don't see Carlos Sainz wanting to move to a team that's really struggling at this point in time, and I'm not going to see them. I don't think Audi are going to be at the back when they join. And honestly, to be honest, out of all the teams this year so far, Haas has impressed me the most. They are not at the back. I would predict them to be right at the back, and they're doing all right. So, yeah, Ollie Behrman came out to say that Hamilton was pulling him out of the car and used as a cute moment, I guess, of Lewis congratulating Ollie Behrman and Behrman having Lewis as one of his idols, and pretty much congratulating him. Also, Sebastian Vettel, another idol of Ollie Behrman, sending him a text message wishing him luck going into the Grand Prix, which was cool to see. And Charles Leclerc was really impressed with Ollie Behrman, the way he performed, considering he hasn't had any time in the car. And, he impressed Charles Leclerc, so that's pretty good for Ollie Behrman, and see what he can do. Can he get a seat next year? Potentially. We're going to have to wait and see. He was in the talks for a seat, for the Haas F1 team. And to be honest with you, I'd like to see him in Haas. I would like to see him. We'll see what happens moving forward. But this was a massive opportunity for Behrman. And like I said, driver of the day. All right, let's see what Australia has to bring. Of course, my little prediction straight off the bat, Max Verstappen will win by maybe 20 seconds or so. I don't see anybody beating Verstappen, but I feel like Ferrari can close the gap. It's always been a strong circuit for Ferrari. We're going to see the return of Carlos Sainz potentially. Apparently, Ollie Behrman will be going to the Australian Grand Prix as well to be there just in case Carlos Sainz cannot drive, but I predict Carlos will be there going into the Australian Grand Prix. Also, in other news, Jos Verstappen will be in the paddock at the Australian Grand Prix, which is that inner Red Bull battle of what's going on, that, civil war. So we'll see what happens with that moving forward and what happens in the week ahead, to see what these teams can do. Let's see what Lewis Hamilton and Russell can do going into Australia. This is the last time out Lewis Hamilton got a podium, but let's see what that Mercedes can do and if they can close the gap to their competitors. Yeah, can't wait. Australian Grand Prix just around the corner, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys did enjoy. Follow the Instagram, subscribe to the channel. do all that stuff. And obviously I make mini helmet reviews, half scale helmets, so check all those reviews out. And before the Australian Grand Prix, we've got a massive special video, me going through what drivers I'm going to need to get signatures from at the Australian Grand Prix. Plus I'll be filming a lot of content there as well. I'll see you guys in my next Formula 1 video. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.